Hello and welcome. In this video we're going to take a look at how to use the update statement in SQL Server. Obviously I'm using SQL Server Management Studio. If you want to download this you can do so for free. If you're a student, for example, or you just want to play around on your home PC, I'll leave a link in the description to a video I created that shows you how to do that. Likewise, this video is actually at the back end of a bunch of other videos I did where we went ahead and created a table, we created a primary key, we created a function and a stored procedure. If you find those videos useful, I will link those down in the description as well. But this video is specifically about update statements. So let's have a quick look at the table in question. We've got ourselves a table which is called config, and it's in the DBO schema. So if I run this statement, we're going to get some data. I can't make that any bigger, so what I'll do is I'll paste it here. Actually, let me get the column names as well. So right click, copy with headers, paste. Okay, so as you can see, we've got ourselves 3 columns. One's called ID, one's called key, one's called value. We've got 7 records. And as you can probably deduce, it's basically just a key value config table. Okay, so we're going to store config settings in this table. We're going to have the key, which you can access the value. And I've created some functions and stored procedures to access data within this table. So as I said before, links will be available down in the description. Okay, so let's take a quick look at the update statement, shall we? What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to update one or some of these values. Okay, so before I get into that though, just a very quick one. If you could do me a huge favor, like this video, subscribe to the channel, you'll be making my day and my week if you do so. It really helps me out, it really helps the channel out. And with that said, let's crack on. So in order to create an update statement, let's start with update. Okay, there's a few different ways that you can do this. The way I like to do this is using an alias. I just think it looks a little bit cleaner, but you may find that, you'll find other people do the update statement slightly different. You find everyone has their favorite way to do these things. So I'm going to show you what I like to do. I personally think it's the cleanest and nicest way to do update statements. So let me show you. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to start off by using the update, and then I'm going to write from, and here I'm going to put in our table. So our table is in the DBO schema. Well, actually, I'll tell you what, I'm just going to copy it from there. There's no point typing if we don't have to, right? And I'm actually going to go ahead and copy that alias as well, right? So from dbo.config, and the alias is C. Now the good thing about using that alias is I can now say update C, and then we write set. So we're going to tell SQL what we want to change. So here we can use that alias, so C dot, and the great thing about that is we're going to get IntelliSense. And so what we're going to say is we're going to update the value. So let me select that, and we're going to set it equal to something. So let's set it equal to 1. And there is an update statement. Although, as you may have noticed, it's a bit dangerous, because what do you think might happen if I run that? You can probably guess that because it doesn't contain a where clause, it's actually going to go ahead and update all those values. But that's fine. We can do that, and I can show you what happens. I'm just going to put square brackets though around value, because I always like to enclose my column names in square brackets just in case they contain a reserved word. And obviously value, as you can see, it's highlighted blue. It is a reserved word. It would probably still work fine, but I find that looks a little bit untidy. Some people prefer to not use reserved words for table names and column names, but I would argue I'll name the column and the table whatever I choose to, and that's what the square brackets are actually for. So with that said, let's run this update statement. So select it, run it, 7 rows affected. We had 7 rows in the table, that means every row's been affected, execute. And now what you can see, well actually, maybe that's a little bit small, so let me copy that again, copy with headers, and I will paste it over the top. As you can see, what we've ended up with is we've ended up with every single record with the value of 1. What I'm going to do actually is I'm going to update the key also for this record here from test. I'm going to update it so that it says key 7, just to keep it nice and clean. So obviously what we're going to do, we're going to change it here because we're going to update the key. Again, that's a reserved word, so I'm going to put square brackets around it. But I need to change the actual statement here to include a where clause, because obviously I don't want to update all of the records this time. Well, what we're going to call it, we're going to change the key from test, and we're going to change it to key 7. And we're going to put that in quotes, because obviously in SQL Server we will specify that it's a string by using quotes. Every language tends to have its own way of specifying what a string looks like. For example, if you use C#, it's double quotes. You know, in SQL Server, single quotes. Pretty sure in JavaScript you can do either. So in the where clause, what are we going to do? We're going to say where C dot. Actually, the only way we can do it is we can say where C dot key is equal to, and we've got to put test in. Okay. So let's do that. Put the old square brackets around. Now, what I would suggest at this point, the good thing about using the alias is you might look at this update statement and you might say to yourself, where have I seen that before? Because actually, if you think about it, right, it's actually mostly, if you look at this bit, like a select statement, right? So what you can do if you want to test it, right, what I like to do is I like to come down here, just do select star, right, from. And then what you can do is you can actually just select that and run the statement. And what we can see, what we're looking for here is only the records to be selected that we want to update. Okay, and as you can see, that's exactly what we've got. So the good thing about doing it like this is that you can test it before you run it, because then you can make sure that you're not going to update all of the records in the table. Right? I have known people to accidentally do that. And when I say I know people, I mean I have done that. So let's just be safe, right? And likewise, what you can do, let me undo that, if you really wanted to, you could actually leave that line there commented out so that you could just run it, in which case it'll do the update statement. But if you wanted to, you can select from here, little tip for you, all the way down, and you can just run that, and that will run the select statement. So if you highlight the bit that you want to run, even if it's part of a comment, yeah, because if you didn't know, that's a comment, using 2 dashes, yeah, using the 2 dashes makes it a comment. You can actually just select from there all the way down and run it as a select statement. So, you know, you may choose to do that if you want to. But anyway, let's get down to business. At the moment, it's a 1. So let's run it. So at the moment, the value's 1, sorry, but we're not changing that. The actual key is test. We want to change it, obviously, to key 7. So let's go ahead and select that, run it. 1 row's been affected. And now what I'm going to do, I'm going to scroll up, I'm going to select all the records, and as we can see, let me copy all of that again, back to trusty Excel, paste it in. As you can see, the key has now been renamed to key 7. Let's just do one more. Let's update the value for key 7 to 10. Yeah, shall we do that? Let's do that. So we're going to switch this around a little bit. We're going to say set the value equal to, let me put those blasted square brackets on. I'll be honest with you, I don't mind calling columns reserved names, but yeah, you need a little bit of patience with the square brackets. But that's fine, because I don't mind spending that little bit of extra time to make it work perfectly. Right, so let's change the value. We're changing it to 10, that's what we said, didn't we? And we're going to say where the key now equals key 7. Okay, let's run that. Hopefully it works. Excellent. And what you'll notice is that actually this column is a varchar, so that's actually specifying an int, but it will get converted, if you like, into a varchar anyway. So we could have done that a number of ways. We could have done it like that, for example. It won't make a difference in the slightest. So let's run it again. Let's run the select statement, and as we can see, if I just delete that, paste it in, we can see we updated the record where the key was set to key 7, and we set the actual value equal to 10. So I'll leave this example as well in the comment section below, so you can copy and paste it if you want to. I hope that you found this video useful. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button, and if you want to see similar content to this in the future, of course, it goes without saying, don't forget to subscribe. And with that said, take care, and hopefully I will see you in the next video.